This is the Everyday Hustle Show, where our number one priority is self-development.
Each week, we will dive into insightful topics that encourage you to push your thinking beyond average.
Smash that subscribe button and tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m.
We're hot.
What up, fam? Stay fucking lit, fam.
What the heck? Welcome to another edition of the Everyday Hustle Show. This is episode 77. The big 77.
That's like a lucky fucking number.
That's what I was about to say. That's
For
something.
someone who just turned the age 7
What the?
on July 7th.
Oh, yeah. July is next month. Yeah. Episode 77. Last week, we talked about, what did we talk about? Jobs we hated. We did it?
That was 2 episodes ago.
Oh, that was 2 episodes ago. Drew's correcting me here. Jess, how you feeling tonight?
Feeling pretty sexual, you know?
As per always.
It's, it's my time of the month.
What the
And
hell? What does
I'm
that even
fucking-
mean?
It means I'm ripe. I'm ripe for the pickings, dude. You know, like when a piece of fruit is on a tree and it's like just perfect time to be picked and plucked and bit into? That's me. I'm fucking ripe.
That happens every month?
Yeah. Yeah, usually around the 13th of the month. I'm ripe as fuck.
Well, today is the 13th, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
No, actually, I'm really good, dude. You know, I've been really freaking stressed the last few months, and things are coming together.
Why are you stressed?
I've been stressed throughout this process of buying a home, getting a loan by myself. It's a first-time process for me, and the shitty thing is like there's a lot of shit you have to do through the lending company and providing this and providing that and fucking setting this up and setting that up and blah 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 blah, blah and then the other thing is you kind of there's certain things that weren't explained to me quite properly during the home inspection, so I ended up going through with the process, and then come to find out through getting homeowners insurance on the property that there's a couple things that actually we didn't think really needed to be done right away, but we really need to fucking fix, like,
Damn.
right when we get in there. So not only, like, you know, now we're kind of to the point where pretty much the loan is, like, it's approved, it's happening in a week or two, we'll have closing, most of the stress is done, but I'm going to, like, have to get in there and get shit done like crazy, and to the point where we have to be out of this house a couple weeks after we close on that one.
So they bamboozled you.
Not bamboozled. Like, I knew that I had to get some stuff done, but I didn't know. You know, there was a lot of talk back and forth. Well, I'm gonna do it myself, or should I have somebody else do this part? Should I do this and this? And it comes down. I'm probably gonna have some people like hire some contractors to do a couple things, just because I have so much other shit I have to fucking worry about in that first month.
So you're saying that you have to get this stuff done in order to get your insurance or your...
No. So, like, if you really want to get into it, I can explain it.
Well, just like a brief,
So briefly, like, my insurance rates are... It was explained to me, like, with this plumbing, that the plumbing pipes are fine in the house, but there's one type of pipe that probably when the house was built, it was no problem. Probably 10 years or 15 years after the house it was built, it was no problem. But nowadays, the insurance companies don't like to insure houses with this type of piping because...
Right, so that's what I was saying. Like,
some
you have to
issue
fix
with
it for insurance.
So, yeah, so I was basically told by the home inspector, like, oh, like, any insurance company will insure you,
right,
just not for water damage on your house. Like, if your pipes leak or something, they won't cover it as long as you have that pipe. So we're like, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, you want to be covered, but, you know, we could save a lot of money and time and effort to not do it.
Right.
But come to find out that like 90% of insurance companies won't even touch you. If you have that pipe, they won't give you insurance at all. So I'm left with like these
like the bottom
these
of the
companies
barrel.
who fucking jack their rates up because they're your only option. So my insurance rates are going to be like pretty fucking high for a couple months, and then I had to make sure, well, if I get in there and I make these changes, can I switch insurance carriers after a couple months? And I can. So, it actually turns out it'll pay to do it. But
Jesse's always having problems with people not wanting to touch him.
I mean, not really, dude. I get touched. I get touched like on a regular goddamn basis, dude.
So Drew, how you feeling tonight, bro?
Dude, I wasn't done. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm done now.
I'm feeling blessed. I set out to do a task this week, and I did it, and that always feels good. But we're gonna roll the tape right here. We got a little something for all the listeners out there. We're going to roll this tape, and then this is what we're going to talk about.
When I look at people, I always ask the question, I say, man, tell me what Nike stands for. They said, oh, Inc., that's easy, just do it. I said, tell me what Adidas stands for. Oh, Inc., that's easy, man, impossible is nothing. I said, now tell me what you stand for. When people look at you, do they think excuses? When people look at you, do they think victory? When people look at you, do they think that's a person that's going to give me everything they got, not on some days, but on every day, and it's not going to be predicated upon if I feel like it, because I think we all know if we only worked on the days when we felt like it, none of us would get much accomplished. I'm talking about the real level of commitment, not the commitment that falls in line if everything goes right. I'm speaking of the commitment that says, I am going to stay true to what I said I would do long after the mood that I've set it in his life.
See, most people, ladies and gentlemen, are stoppable. Most people, all you have to do is tell them no. All you have to do is make it inconvenient for them. All you have to do is make it difficult for them, and they'll stop. See, when you go to get your goal, don't think that all you have to do is think positive and everything's going to work out okie-dokie for you. When you go to get your goal, you are sending a telegram to Murphy's Law to visit you personally.
You thought you was just going to have a dream and a goal, and you were just going to wake up and just walk into the sunset. You're like, dream, boom. It don't work like that. You have a dream, and then life pumps you. Life pumps you and say, do you really want this? You're going to lose friends. Do you really want this? Do you really want this? Cousins gonna abandon you. People that you used to be like this with gonna think you bougie and don't wanna deal with you. It's a part of it, but I paid too much. If I was gonna quit, I would have quit in the abandoned building when I wanted to commit suicide and take my life. I should have quit when I heard my voice say, your mama don't want you, your daddy don't want you, take your life. I got through that, so why I'm gonna quit over an F on a grade? Come on. And so I'm telling y'all, you have come too far to quit now. You have invested too much to quit now. You have lost too much to quit now. Don't cry about it. Don't whine about it. Get a reward for your pain. And so by being
What the fuck is he talking about?
Just didn't hear not one word of that.
I was playing with my dog.
Okay, so the first segment was Inky Johnson. Chris knows him.
Motherfucking Inky, bud. That guy.
You know who he is?
I don't know motherfucking name Inky Johnson.
He's got one arm.
Inky.
He's sick. And then the second, who was the second guy? Chris knows.
Proctor.
No. Old black guy.
It wasn't Proctor. I can see his face, but I don't.
He's got a son in the game now. His last name is a color.
Brown.
Yeah.
Les Brown.
Yeah. And the third guy was?
Inky.
Fucking guy. Who was the third guy?
Inky. I don't fucking know.
No, after Les Brown.
Fucking.
All right, who's the third guy after Les Brown?
Ivy, go get the list.
TGIF.
Oh my god.
E.T. Eric Thomas.
Eric
Oh,
Thomas.
she kicked me in the balls, dude. The dog.
Goodness, because you deserved it.
My taint. What the fuck is he talking about?
Okay, so the first segment was about what do you stand for, and then it was about like doing. If you say you're going to do something, then you have to do it. Which we don't even need to spend time on that. that's just like, we all know what the deal is, you know? Jesse, what do you stand for?
Sexual nuances.
I guess you don't even need to answer that. Maybe that's just the question. What's the questions that don't need answers?
Rhetorical.
Yeah, it's a rhetorical question for the listener to kind of reflect and think upon your values as a person and as a human. Thinking, what is it that you truly stand for? What is it that you believe in? You know?
It's kind of a hard, general question.
Not really.
What the fuck is that noise over there?
Is it a lizard? And then I like Eric's I like Eric Thomas's little segment the most because it talks about having like a dream and a goal, and then, you know, actually, well, first Les Brown said putting a goal and or a dream out to the universe is like sending a telegram to Murphy's Law. And Murphy's Law is like, you know, what can happen will happen, and it's always like, you know, whatever can go wrong will go wrong type thing. And then Eric Thomas talked about like, once you set out and you have like a dream and a goal, life's just gonna fucking, you know, smack you. And then like the thing is like when you put something out there, and then like usually what happens is something will happen. Somebody will say no to you, and then you're just like, oh, okay, well, fuck it. I'll just move on to the next goal, you know? And I think that, you know, it's hard to keep going past the nose to make it to the yes, you know? And, like, I guess why I, you know, identified with this little clip so much is just because with the business and all that stuff, it's just been really challenging, you know? We were talking before about, you know, signs on the building and stuff like that, and you know, can't have signs that nobody knows we exist. But it's like, you know, I know from other situations, it's like, can't live in the problem, got to live in the solution. So we're gonna find a way around it, you know, which is kind of like what I thought about when I heard that. But I don't know. I wanted to know about a situation in your lives when somebody told you no when you set out a dream or a goal and you got knocked down, but you got back up and you were victorious. I want to know, fellas.
Something current is this house situation, dude. Like
yeah.
Fucking year ago, like I was getting denied for a credit card. Or I don't know if it was a year ago, but at some point here, not too fucking long in the last year or two, like I couldn't even get a fucking credit card. My credit's shot. I'm fucking wanting to fucking get my own place because like ever since I moved down to Florida, dude, I fucking moved, I don't know. Moving into this house might be the 6th or 7th time in the last 3 years. Like a lot, you know, bounce around. Oh, I'm gonna live with this guy for a little while. This place to this place, and it's been a lot of work.
A lot of work. Yeah, man. I mean, I can't think of exact time where someone like told me no necessarily, but I do identify with Inky's message a lot, and that clip that I took from the original clip or the original video, man, that's fire. There's so much in that video, and what he's essentially saying, and what I got from all of it, just like you said about what E.T. said, about like when you set out to do something, life's gonna test you to make sure that she's over there, to make sure that you know that's actually what you want. And I mean, to simplify it, for example, like with LF, with the clothing brand, and like what you just said with the signs at your place, you'll not every week's gonna be a big week, not every day's gonna be a big day in terms of like sales, in terms of growth or whatever. But on those off days when it's not, when things aren't like happening or like blowing up, those are the days that you have to like remember, and that's what Inky was saying, was like you have to, find that same motivation that you had when you first made that statement.
And that's challenging.
Yeah, you have to have find that feeling long after you made that statement, or long after you made the decision to go to school or to open a business.
Yeah. And like it's like, oh, like I forget what I was watching too recently. It was something about, like, oh, it was a podcast, Business and Biceps. Everyone should check them out if you haven't listened to them. But they were talking about like entrepreneurship and like, oh, I'm gonna start my own business because I want to be my own fucking boss. And they're like, yo, if that's like your mentality, you're not gonna make it.
Right.
like the greatest thing about this is that I don't have a boss. It's like that's like the worst way to think about it. And it was like, like that's the thing. I think, how many people told you that, hey, starting a clothing company is not going to work. It's not a good idea. You're not going to make money. Like, I'm sure you've heard that like a gajillion times. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Nobody makes it when they're doing, clothing company, like I'm sure you heard that a lot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, what I see more is like, for example, in terms of support, online, if I post something, that's like a not necessarily heartfelt, but like, I'm posting about the brand, anything to do with the brand, or anything to do with the podcast, or anything to do with like what I'm, passionate about, I'll get, 20 likes, 25 likes, and then I'll post something like dumb, or like, like not dumb, but like, something that's not like so heartfelt, that's a little bit more like light as far as the subject, and I'll get, like 100 likes. So to me, like, and I've noticed that, in other people, like even in other people that post about, when they're posting about something serious. And I think it's like, in today's culture, it's like, you post something serious and it's like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? He's over here, like, who cares about, what I'm saying? Like, there's so many podcasts, there's so many clothing brands, but goes back to that whole thing, is like, for me, at first it kind of got to me a little bit, but, especially now, it's like, I'm like, I love doing the podcast. I love doing the brand. So if I get 0 likes, I'm still going to post about it. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to, you know what I'm saying? So I think that is also like a different, a huge difference in terms of like, do you actually want to do this, or is this something because you want followers? Yeah.
Like, are you looking for validation?
Right.
Because you're most likely not going to get the validation.
100%.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm going to share this post about this and no one's going to give a shit. And it's like, normally people don't, but it's like, what is the motive behind what you're sharing? My motive behind sharing the podcast is that, like, I know there's somebody out there, like, in our immediate circle that could listen to what we're doing and benefit from it. And even if 1 or 2 people hear it and benefit from it, then, mission accomplished. Yeah. That's worth the time and money and resources that we spent on it.
Yeah.
But I also think that, like, it's important for people to know, like, with a dream and a goal, like, somebody's going to tell you, oh, it's going to take a lot of work. It's like, yeah, fuck yeah, it's going to take a lot of work. But, like, that's what I'm signing up for.
Right,
I'm aware of the work that's going to need to be done, and I'm willing to take it on. But it's also hard to keep the mentality, like you said, like on the slow days. And that's like so true, because on days when business is slow, like at the juice bar, I'm just like thinking in my head, like, oh, like nobody fucking likes us.
Right.
No, like I take it personal.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to buy shit from us because we suck and this and that. And it's just like so ridiculous. And the next day we like have like a record day.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard, to maintain that attitude when things aren't going your way. That's also true in life in general. And I love that Jesse is going through the house buying process, because that's one of the most grueling, tedious processes. It's like a 90-day fucking emotional roller coaster, So, look at Jesse's freaking package right now.
Dude, the tightest shorts I've ever seen in my entire
What's up with you, dude? You look like one of those dudes in the gym who pisses me off all the time. With fucking half a shorts on.
Killing it. Yeah, man. It's it definitely takes a lot of you just got to make sure to be ready for it, and like you said, on the slow days, just to make sure to remember that it's okay. Like, everybody has that, and how much do you actually want it?
Yeah.
you know. But so what's been the hardest part, Jess, about buying a house?
The hardest part, so I kept trying to tell myself too in the beginning, well, number one, I don't know about the hard, there's been a couple of hard parts. Number one, I've been trying to keep a positive mind, and I keep thinking like positive mind, positive things, throughout the whole process, because there's the fear, because not only, because of some different things with both of our credit and the loan, I had to apply for the loans on my own.
Yeah, you were tripping on that for a little bit.
Right, so then I'm like, are they going to apply me on my loan and my income alone for this amount of money? And, and then during the underwriting process, a couple questions came up that were kind of like, to me, I was like, oh shit, because the underwriters go through everything with a fine comb, and then they pick little things, and they're like, you need to write a letter explaining this and this. And there were like 3 things that I was like, I started reading online, and I'm like, underwriters deny loans all the time for these things. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah. And then I tell my realtor, and he was like, oh shit! Like I could tell the tone of his voice, like
he wasn't reassuring.
He was like, no, he was. And he was like, oh, don't worry. After he completely reacted in a way where I was like, fuck me, dude. And then I'm trying to not only that, but I'm trying to not project those fears onto Helena, because I don't want her to fucking worry, but I'm freaking out. And the thing is that at that point we had already posted this house.
Yeah.
Which we all comfortably live in, and for a cheap amount of money for what it is, because we're here with her brother and his girlfriend shit. So I'm thinking she's hunting for lizards, and she sees lizards up there. Ivy, come here.
What did I tell you about the loan?
What about it?
Do you remember what I told you?
I'm fucked?
No.
What'd you tell me?
I told you they were dying to give you that money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it worked out, and I got approved and everything. But yeah, the fear and... So during that time where I'm really freaking out, the house that we currently live in, ended up selling, or someone put an offer in on it 5 days after it posted.
Thanks to Nice Designs.
Right, so we ended up...
LLC.
Not expecting
Reach out to me at
happen.
andrewnice.com. You can check my portfolio at andrewnice.com/photography portfolio.
That's
for
right.
all your real estate, lifestyle, merchandise, modeling headshots,
sexual,
podcast promotions,
sexual
business
needs.
Promotions, aerial photography,
Sexual
drone
needs.
photography, videography.
Sexual needs. And so thanks to those great photos, this house posted a lot quicker than I expected. So there was a huge fear of like, shit, if I get denied and this one sells, what the fuck am I gonna do?
I'm gonna moving in with me again.
Well, that's the thing. We were like, we're gonna have 3 weeks to figure out
that.
what the fuck to do, and have. I mean, I'm sure we wouldn't be homeless living on the street, but it would not be ideal. We'd be going from living in comfortably here with our fucking dog in the pool in the garage, and to having nowhere to fucking go. So I was freaking the fuck out, but trying to not freak out, or not at least show it, because I didn't want Helena to freak out. I wanted to try to burden the whole fucking...
I didn't even hear from Jesse for like 2 weeks.
It's been rough, dude.
I've been texting Earth to Jesse.
One of the hardest, the other hardest things is that all the business or tasks that I have to conduct throughout this process have to be done basically Monday
While
through
you're
Friday.
At work, yeah.
Yeah, 8 to fucking 5 p.m. during my peak work hours, and I'm, trying not to look like to all my employees that I'm doing nothing but fucking doing all my personal shit all day. So it's been a fucking juggling act, dude.
What? Oh man, we're doing this a little later than we usually do. We're all a little bit tired. But when you turn the keys and you open up that door and you walk in the house with your wife and your baby dog.
Oh, it's gonna be great, dude. I'm really excited.
It's yours,
I am. It's a nice, cute little place. We're gonna get some shit done to it and kind of make
That's
it our
like
own.
some
and-
real world shit right there, though. Like, you know, when we like start changing our lives and turning things around, it's like you never expect to be able to do stuff like that. Like, you know, own a home, and like that's such a good investment, you know. And if anyone needs help with the house buying process, just reach out to Jesse Zane on Instagram.
Yeah.
He can guide you.
I'll set you up with Reliance Realty and Joju Frankel.
Shout
my
out to
main
Joju
freaking little
Frankel.
Asian man.
Joju Frankel Realty at gmail.com.
I swear to God, I would S his D right now if he pulled it out. Yo, speaking of D's,
AndrewNice.com/photography portfolio.
speaking of D's, I have to.
AndrewYZ.com.
I have to give a shout out to the king of all media, Howard Stern.
What
Dude.
happened on Howard Stern this week?
Yesterday, can I go through this?
Yeah, the abridged version.
I was really amazed they did this. So usually he has a couple of guys who pitch like outlandish ideas to the point where they're so crazy that he shoots them down. You know, so for Father's Day, they wanted to give away a book to a listener who would guess who would get hard if two guys that are straight men, all three straight men, two guys had their dicks out and one other guy jerked both of them off at the same time, and whoever got hard, the listener who could guess who could get hard first would win a book. And
That's
you know, they
disturbing.
pitched it, and he, you know, usually he shoots those gay ideas down, and this time like he was like, go ahead and do it. And the dude lotioned up his hands, and he did it, and one of the guys got he grew an inch. They measured, and the listener guessed the right guy and won a book.
Not full erect?
No, it was actually the funniest part was the one dude he was really nervous about it. Beforehand, he was 3.25 inches soft. The other guy was 2 inches soft. The guy who was 2 inches soft grew to 3 inches, and the guy who was 3.25 inches shrunk to 1 inch.
All right.
That was the best part, dude.
Shout out to Kyle Swinson for getting on the Theo Vaughn podcast.
Yeah, that was awesome. It made me want to call the hotline.
Yeah. And if you guys listen to podcasts and you like comedy, check out Theo Vaughn this past weekend. Really cool. Kyle was on the episode. He called in and
Stories about your first crotch touching experience.
he left Sunday school to do the devil's dirty work.
It's the fucking devil's work.
It was awesome.
That was really good. Swince.
Hey, why don't you go ahead and just drop that Nimbus cloud? Shout out to D Squared Media for their continued support on the podcast. Danny continues to blow me away with his everything.
Sexual
Helping us with the website again. Reach out to them for all your website needs, business branding, print work, whatever you guys need. All the listeners are going to get 10% off of their final invoice and ongoing invoices for the jobs that they do for you guys. Remember, share the podcast if you like it. Share it with a friend. Share it with your auntie. Share it with your cousin. Share it with your neighbor.
Share it with your dog.
Share it with your dog.
Your loved
and,
ones.
Remember what Inky Johnson said. What did he say, Chris?
I said make sure to keep that same energy long after you make that statement.
Shout
Remember-
out to Helene.
Remember, shout out to Helene. Helena Dewar. Shout out
Soon
to
to be.
Eric Thomas. If you're listening, bro, we appreciate you. You know, Eric Thomas, I know you're listening.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Ivy, dude. Looking at me right now. Freaking big down my head.
Remember, the dreams and goals will be hard to accomplish, but well worth the trials and tribulations. We'll see you next week.
Don't die.